you to come out to your block, to your neighborhood.
Yeah.
I will do that. We will schedule it tonight. You have 2 members of my staff in the back. I will schedule a walkthrough to your block. I'd like you to point out to me the specific homes that are causing you this dismay. I will attempt to problem solve myself and my staff, and we will also call the authorities, the appropriate authorities, to investigate any of the violations that you've outlined. I want to be clear. I can't promise that you're going to get the result that you would like, but I can promise that we will work actively to get us there. And though, unfortunately, and we've seen this time and time again, we need to always be vigilant in our communities about crime and about quality of life, because what occurs is many times you make a complaint to your local official, or we contact the city agencies or the police department or whoever, or whatever agency needs to be contacted. They go in, they make arrests, they make complaints. I know that the restaurant in question has been fined thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I know because I've gotten the summonses. The owner even came to complain to me about the fact that I was sending the police to inspect his premise and saying that he believed that I wasn't protecting his rights as a business owner. So I'm just explaining to you the full panorama of the discussion and the debate, but we will continue to, if there's anyone here who's having the type of quality of life issues that Ms. Huber and Ms. Bruce have outlined, I made a commitment to go personally to your blocks, to your homes, and I'll even go speak to the neighbors who are causing some of the dilemma, and maybe we can problem solve it like that. So the buck stops here, and I'm telling you in this public room that I'll do the best that I can with my staff to service you and to ensure that you have a better quality of life.
Okay, one more thing. Even though that the question was asked a number of times about what went on in the Senate, a lot of your answers still weren't mentioned.
Okay, what is it that wasn't clear? Maybe I can
This
clarify for
gentleman's
you.
question here about Malcolm Smith Avenue, you part about you being a Republican only for when you were 17.
Right.
Did you ever vote Republican?
No.
The time that you flip-flop, were you Republican then?
No.
You weren't?
No.
You were just what?
And I voted for another Democrat.
During that period?
Absolutely.
Okay.
See, that's what wasn't recorded.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Well, that's why I'm answering. You know, if it was that I voted for a Republican to be the president of the Senate, then you could have a right to say, well, what happened? But that's not what occurred. And it's unfortunate that they haven't reported it correctly. But that's part of what they do with the media, and it's unfortunate. And I'm here to explain to you straight from the horse's mouth in fact what actually occurred. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. If anyone else has a question, please just come on.
Yeah, good evening. I appreciate many of the legislative reforms. I'm just hope that in the future, other ways of reform of affecting change without there being 38 days of this order on the Senate floor.
Thank you. I will attest to the fact, it was 31 days, that I would never in my entire life want to ever be involved with another 31-day stay away. I promise you that. It was a painful experience. There was some good that was derived, but clearly it caused a great deal of discomfort to the community, to the residents, and to myself, and even to my staff. Any other questions from members of the community? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Yvonne Plummer, and I've lived in this community practically all my life. I am an avid voter. I do keep abreast of what's happening politically. I must tell you, Senator Monserrate, I have never, ever been so dismayed and so ashamed of our Senate, our New York State Senate, as I have been during this month of June. And I think and I hope that this will never happen again. But I also know that we're still feeling the pangs of dismay. And when voting time comes again, this will also rekindle some of the things that occurred during the time when there was nothing happening in Albany. and when people got paid for not working. I think that was just unreasonable. I have been in administration for many, many years in healthcare, and never in my life would anybody get paid for not doing anything. And I just want to let you know that I am so sorry this happened, but it will be fresh in my mind come November, this November, next November, and subsequent. Thank you.
Let me add that we at the State Senate have an obligation to restore the faith of the people of the state of New York, not just the other 62, but your senator and myself in particular. We will be working extremely hard to do that, to restore your faith in the Senate. Democracy sometimes isn't a smooth process, but we're committed to that and to bringing back the resources that are necessary to make this community in our district whole and a better place to live. I'm committed to that. I will be working on that, and I will be working on restoring your faith in myself and my colleagues, and you have my commitment to that.
Hi, my name is Bertha Ray. We know each other. And like many other here, I was born in this neighborhood and always lived, well, not always lived, but I've always had a family presence in the neighborhood. I came here tonight because I'm trying to understand how you could join with Republicans for a majority. Yes, you voted for a Democratic leader, because I think that you're kind of playing with words here, and I find that to be annoying. But you voted for a Democratic leader, but you also brought the Republicans back into power. Those Republicans, these are the same Republicans that voted time after time to uphold the Rockefeller laws, that jailed so many of our Black and Latino youngsters. They're rotting in jail, and you joined with these same people. I cannot understand. And I'm trying, and I'm listening and listening, and I'm still not able to understand.
I will try to explain it again.
Fine, yes, you had laws that would bottle that. But I mean, that happens. That is something that happens within the legislature. You work through the legislature to get things done. But to join with those people, for me, goes too far. And I'm trying to understand.
All right, so I want to give you a better explanation. Perhaps I'll just restate what I stated earlier. First of all, there was a leadership vote and a vote on reforms and rules changes in the Senate that occurred on June 8th. That did not include voting for a Republican to be the president or the leadership. That's not a play on words. That's very direct and very clear. I would not have voted for a Republican to be the president of the Senate. That's the first point. The second point is when we speak about voting with those people, we, the Democrats, not only in the City Council, not only in the State Senate, not only in the Congress, but in the U.S. Senate, we vote with those people routinely so that we have a full understanding of what actually occurs in the legislative process. The majority of bills that are passed because both sides of the aisles agreed to pass them. The minority of the bills, which I would term controversial bills, are passed by one party. The State Senate right now has a 32 Democrat to 30 Republicans majority. So in essence, it's a one-vote majority, right? Occasionally, we vote on bills, controversial bills, without the Republicans. But that is not the norm. That's actually the exception, or the minority of the time. So that we have a better understanding of how the legislative process works. That's how it actually works. On that day, I took a vote with some members of the other party to change leadership, to reform the Senate, and today the Senate is a better, more reformed and transparent place. What you have outlined as the legislative process, in my opinion,